In today's video, we're going to rank 29 Christmas movies. Now, these are not all the Christmas movies that exist, of course, since there's only 29 in this list, but these are 29 that I handpicked that I watch every year, and some that I don't actually watch every year, but I had to balance the scales of good and bad movies. I have my Darth Vader sweater on, got the lights in the background, I'm in the Christmas mood, so let's get into this list. As you can see here, we have a pretty good, hefty list of Christmas movies. Obviously, I did not include every single Christmas movie under the sun. That is way too many, and Hallmark makes 50 a year with no pause, so I don't have that much time, and I haven't seen all of them. There are probably a good chunk that I forgot to add that I actually do like and do watch, and I'm sure once I go through and watch this over and I see people in the comments or I start talking to other people, I'm going to think, oh wait, forgot that movie. But these are the ones that I watch every year, and some extras that I decided to add that would be funny, and I think this will be a pretty good list. Let's start a little bit light, and let's do Jingle All the Way. Now, this movie is pretty funny. Arnold Schwarzenegger does a great job of playing this father trying to get this toy for his son, Anakin Skywalker, Jake Lloyd, and he's trying to go through all of these leaps and bounds, all of these obstacles to get this toy, and of course he gets the toy, and it's hilarious. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a very famous action movie star, but he does some comedies here and there, Kindergarten Cop, but he does some other movies where he's actually really funny, and this is one of them. Now, we're going to hit big, and we're going to do It's a Wonderful Life. I'm going to stick it at B. People aren't going to like that. A lot of people think that is the best Christmas movie, and that's fine. But for me, not my favorite. It's still good. Definitely gets that slot of B, but it's not A. Definitely not S for me. I get the story. The story is a great story. A father and a husband who's come to his wit's end and thinks that things are going terrible. He is forced to realize that he has everything he actually needs, which is his family. And it's kind of like a Christmas Carol deal where he's shown what he has and to not take it for granted. And it's a really good story, just not my favorite Christmas movie. Then we come to the Home Alone duo, which are the only two Home Alone movies that actually matter and are actually good, in my opinion. I'm going to place them both at B as well. Both movies, obviously, it's in the title. He gets left home alone, and he has to ward off these burglars in the first one. In the second one, he ends up going to New York City, and he wasn't supposed to go there. It was by an accident. And they are super, super good movies. Every year, I have to watch Home Alone 1 and 2. And they're phenomenal movies. Macaulay Culkin, childhood actor, one of his best roles, if not his best role. Now we're going to move over to my personal Christmas Carol trio. There are a ton of Christmas Carol renditions, and there are some that are old black and white, some are like from the 80s and then so on. But a lot of those, I guess maybe it just missed on me. Maybe I'm just too young, I don't know. But they kind of bore me, and they're still a good story, but I like these three. The first one is a Flintstones Christmas Carol. Pretty funny. I watch this one every year as well. It's a super good movie. I love the Flintstones, and putting that with a story of Christmas Carol is fantastic. We're going to skip, and we're going to go to a Jim Carrey Christmas Carol, also B. As you can see, there's a common theme. This is that B is that mid-tier, and Jim Carrey Christmas Carol is actually fantastic. It's better than Flintstones. It was done very well. There are a couple creepy scenes in that one that I don't care for, but this is like Jim Carrey's version of Polar Express. Tom Hanks got Polar Express, Jim Carrey got Christmas Carol, got the motion capture, does a couple other voices and characters, and it was done very well. I do really enjoy this movie. My third Christmas Carol choice is a Muppets Christmas Carol, and that's the first one I'm going to stick at A. Michael Caine playing Scrooge. Fantastic. And the Muppets cast is just hilarious. I love Kermit the Frog, and I love Miss Piggy, and I love the rest of the cast of Muppets, and they just mix very well with the world of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. And Michael Caine, phenomenal actor all around, and he does a very good job of playing Scrooge, and this movie is definitely A tier. Now we go back a little further, and we do White Christmas with Bing Crosby. That is an S tier movie. Absolutely phenomenal movie. I love the cast. Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye are a perfect duo in this movie, and their female counterparts in this movie are also phenomenal. Great soundtrack. There are these two war buddies that became famous by having a singing duo, and they meet these sisters who are also a singing duo. They go to this lodge, they find their old general, and they realize that they want to honor him and bring all of the troops back from the war and to give him a Christmas present of the surprise of all of his former troops saluting him and this gift of respect. They work and they tangle all their way and they use all their connections of being famous and bring all the troops in on Christmas, and it is a great movie. Then we come to the Grinch duo. Now, Jim Carrey Grinch is definitely a B movie. I think it's really good. It's funny. It's kind of gross because it's a different take on Grinch entirely. Now, it actually kind of plays what the song is very literally, where he is pretty gross and disgusting. So it does it very well. And Jim Carrey, he likes Christmas movies, apparently. He has 2 in his belt, and he plays the part of Grinch really good. And it's really funny. Not my favorite Grinch. Still really good. My Grinch choice is the Benedict Cumberbatch Grinch, the animated one from Illuminations, people who made Despicable Me. And I'm going to place that one at A. This one is a super, super good Grinch. Without being super gross and over the top, he's just the Grinch. He's pouty, hates Christmas, hates everything about it. And he does the whole thing where he steals the Who's gifts, and the animation is just incredible. And the one thing I love about the Illuminations movies is the attention to creative detail with all of the mechanics and all the things he's making and all of the tools he's using to steal the gifts. It's great. Benedict Cumberbatch, one of my favorite all-time actors, great voice acting, and he does a very good job at playing the Grinch. Now, one of my favorite all-time Christmas movies, Polar Express. I'm going to place that one at A. I kind of want to put it at S, but the older I get, the more I just want to put it at A. Now, recently, people that I talk to on a daily basis say they do not like this movie. It's creepy. Everything's really weird about it. I disagree. I think the movie was done extremely well, and I think the animation needs to be remastered. It needs to be remade and updated because the elves are really creepy, and the voices, I mean, trust me. Super creepy. I will give anybody that. That is a turnoff for the movie. The soundtrack is good. The purpose of the movie is good. It is like, okay, believing in Santa, but I take it as believing in the spirit of Christmas and believing in what Christmas means. Because at this point, the kid was like a Grinch almost, and he didn't enjoy Christmas because he didn't think Santa was real. So it is basically him believing in Santa, but I also feel like it's believing in Christmas because he couldn't hear the bell ring, and everyone else could, but his Christmas spirit meter was really low. Super, super good movie. Now, a movie that I don't know if a lot of people have seen, maybe down in the comments you can let me know, but there's a movie that was placed on Netflix a few years ago, maybe 2018 actually. It's called Klaus. I'm putting this one at A. This is a fantastic movie. If you have not seen this movie and you want a good Christmas special, go watch this movie. This dude works for his father's post office, and he's spoiled and kind of just lounges around, is lazy, doesn't have any drive, and he's made to go to this like faraway island and to bring the mail service to that island. And it's an island that's basically at a civil war with each other. And while he's there, he uses his ability of mail service to try and bring these people together. Now, his main purpose was just to get back home. That was the only thing he was supposed to do, was to send a certain amount of letters. So then he bands with this guy named Klaus, who is Santa Claus, of course. And they do the impossible, and they actually do what he set out to do. And it turns around that they find out that he was only doing it to go back home, and he wasn't doing it for Christmas. But then he tells his father he doesn't want to go back, and he stays, helps deliver all the presents and gifts to the children. And it's a really, really beautiful movie. And if you have not seen it, I would encourage you to go watch this movie. Arthur Christmas. This is also a really random one. I don't know if anyone remembers these little Disney shorts called Prep and Landing, but the elves in that are like the elves in Arthur Christmas. And this is a B movie. This movie shows all of the different generations of Santa Claus. And in this one, Santa has 2 sons. One who's like a general, he's very organized, and isn't really doing it for the spirit of Christmas. He's just doing it to become Santa Claus. And then you have Arthur Christmas, who loves Christmas. He's a bit of a goof. The voice actor for him is James McAvoy, and I think Hugh Laurie does the son. And it's really entertaining. Arthur brings back the grandfather, one of the past Santa Clauses, and he's trying to deliver this one bike that wasn't delivered to one kid. And it's about this one kid that he's focusing on. And the older brother is saying, whatever, we'll get her next year. It's just one bike, who cares? And everyone can't believe it because that was the important part, was delivering that one kid. That one kid is just as important as everyone else. Delivers the bike. Arthur goes above and beyond and he delivers the bike, and he ends up becoming Santa Claus, and it's a really good movie. Christmas Vacation. People are going to hate me for this. I'm putting this one at C. It's funny. Not my favorite Christmas movie. I think I missed a train on that growing up. My family didn't really enjoy that one as well, and my family is more of a Christmas Story family, and I could be wrong, but I feel like it's either you watch Christmas Story or Christmas Vacation. I'm sure plenty of people enjoy them both equally, but Christmas Vacation is not my favorite, and at some points it's a little annoying, but that's my personal opinion. I'm sure the people who don't like that will probably dislike this video, but now, here we go. A Christmas Story. Wow. Okay. S tier. I grew up with this movie. I don't think I had a choice whether I was allowed to like this movie or not. It was forced in my face, and I accepted it. I embraced it, and I absolutely love this movie. This movie is attached with a lot of nostalgia, basically, but still is hilarious. The actors, the kid actors they picked for this movie was perfectly picked. From the main cast to the supporting cast, all the friends, super funny. The parents are a riot. I literally, every year when I watch this movie, I watch it, and somehow, it's the only movie in my entire life where when I watch it, it's like I'm watching it for the first time. I laugh as if like it's the first time, and it's such an entertaining story, movie, and this kid who just wants a Red Ryder BB gun, and he finally gets it and shoots his eye out. Or almost shoots his eye. He breaks his glasses, but it's so good. Scott Farkus, the whole cast, so good. Then they came out with A Christmas Story Christmas, and that one was B. It wasn't terrible. It did justice for the original movie, and I thought it was pretty good. It was funny. There were some references to the old movie, but it wasn't crazy good. It was just, wow, they actually came back after all this time, and it was a pretty good movie. Christmas with the Cranks. I'm gonna stick this one at B. This movie is actually really good. Tim Allen, one of his many Christmas movies, him and his wife do not want to spend Christmas back at home, and since their daughter's away at college, they decide they're going to go on a cruise in a tropical place. Their entire neighborhood is beside themselves. They cannot believe they're not going to spend Christmas at home and put up their decorations like they do every year and all of their lights. But then they find out their daughter's actually coming home for Christmas, so they enlist their entire neighborhood and get Christmas ready for their daughter, and it's a really good movie. Very funny, very entertaining, and definitely a B-tier movie. Elf, Will Ferrell. I'm going to put this one at B as well. Buddy the Elf, Will Ferrell, when he's a little baby, sneaks into Santa's gift sack and is raised by the elves. And then, to his surprise, finds out he is not an elf. He is a human being, and he goes to find his father in a faraway land called New York. And his father does not want him, thinks he's crazy. I mean, he is. And then back in that time, Will Ferrell was over the top with most of his movies. But this one is hilarious. From beginning to end, it is so freaking good. I kind of want to put it at A, but I still think it's not as good as the ones that I have in A, and it's definitely just a B-tier movie, but so good. Christmas in Connecticut, another older one. This one definitely is an S-tier movie. This woman writes a column in a magazine, and she writes about where she lives in the country and her country life, but she actually lives in the city. The owner of the paper wants to go and visit her for Christmas at her farm, which does not exist. So one of her friends agrees to marry her. So in the process of the entire movie, they're trying to get married to prove that they actually are this married couple so she doesn't get fired. Of course, this lovely, handsome sailor comes along and visits for Christmas at this farmhouse. Of course, they fall in love, and she gets fired, but then rehired, and Uncle Felix helps, and Mr. Yardley wants to fire. Such a good movie. I have a cycle every year where I have to watch them in order of Polar Express, Grinch, Benedict Cumberbatch, White Christmas, Christmas in Connecticut, and then I end with Christmas Story. And if you have not seen Christmas in Connecticut, if older movies isn't your style for Christmas, if you like It's a Wonderful Life, then you can watch Christmas in Connecticut. I would give it a try. Such a good movie. Then, the Santa Claus Trio with Tim Allen. The first Santa Claus is B. Really good. Santa Claus is on his roof, falls off, dies, and then he becomes Santa Claus. And through the entire course of that movie, his transition into becoming Santa Claus is coming more and more visual. He's getting fatter, his beard's growing out, and he's realizing that he has to become Santa Claus, and he wants to. The second Santa Claus movie, for me, is an A-tier movie. the entire fantasy council of like the Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, Father Time, and there's a few others, and then of course Santa Claus, tell him and break the news that he has to find a wife in a certain amount of days or he cannot be Santa Claus. So he goes back to visit his son and his other family, and the transition from being Santa Claus to becoming his normal self again is starting to happen. And he becomes Tim Allen again. And then he falls in love with his son's principal. And of course, they fall in love together and then they get married. And that one is really good. That one's definitely my favorite out of all the Santa Claus movies. And it's definitely one of the top Christmas movies of all time for me. Santa Claus 3. I do not like that movie. It's D tier. I don't enjoy it. Martin Short is Jack Frost, and he plays a good role in that. I mean, he's a great actor. And he wants to become Santa Claus. And it does happen. And if I remember correctly, I haven't watched this in a long time because I don't like it. Tim Allen is having the thought of not wanting to be Santa Claus. So Martin Short says, well, let me help you. And then Tim Allen says, no, wait, I changed my mind. And then Martin Short makes it happen. And he becomes Santa. And Jack Frost becomes Father Christmas. And Tim Allen becomes regular Tim Allen again. He's not Santa Claus. And then Tim Allen is experiencing this entire alternate reality of him not being Santa Claus and what his family would have ended up like. And I just didn't enjoy it. There wasn't anything about that movie that was like, wow, this was entertaining. And it's definitely my least favorite Christmas movie. Actually, that's wrong. There are other Hallmark movies that I like less. A movie that I forgot to put in here was Frosty the Snowman, but I would also probably place that at B tier. That being said, now we enter the stop motion trio right here. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, B. Great movie. Put one foot in front of the other and you have this movie. A Year Without a Santa Claus, also B. Mrs. Claus is trying to figure out how to deliver Christmas presents to all the people of the world, and she's doing it because Santa Claus is sick. She has a couple elves helping her, and I think one reindeer, and Heat Miser and Ice Miser, whatever their names are, they're part of this, and it's an entertaining movie. And of course, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's good, entertaining, and they're really good movies. That ends all of the traditional Christmas movies, and then we come to the honorable mentions, which are Lethal Weapon 1, which I will be sticking at B. Now, the reason why I'm putting this in here because I love the Lethal Weapon movies, and it just so happens that it takes place during Christmas, and I love this movie. Die Hard 1 and Die Hard 2, also in B as far as Christmas movies are concerned. Again, I'm just placing these because they just so happen to take place during Christmas, and they are really good movies. And then, of course, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and this will symbolize all of the Harry Potter movies they celebrate Christmas in, because on Freeform and all these other channels, they always seem to show Harry Potter during Halloween and Christmas. Harry Potter is more of a Halloween movie to me than a Christmas movie, but alas, here we are. Harry Potter, great movie. I think they celebrate Christmas for a total of 20 minutes in this entire movie, probably less, but I'm still gonna stick it at B because I feel like it. That is my 29 Christmas movie tier list, and I'm pretty satisfied. I think the top 3 at S tier are definitely my favorite Christmas movies of all time. And I think that A tier is looking pretty good too. B tier, yeah, that makes sense. C and D definitely makes sense. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you were enjoying your Christmas movies this year. Please let me know which ones yours are in the comments. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.